Okay, we should be live now. Gonna make sure it's all set up and then we can start. Alright, just 1 second and we'll be good to go. Okay, the audio sounds fine. Okay, I think we should be good. So, we're going to be getting through a big chunk of the season today. Weeks 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. That's 5 weeks for those counting at home. This might be the most weeks we've done in an OFL stream probably ever, not counting like long-term sims. I mean, have I ever done like 8 weeks in a stream? I don't think I have. So this might be a record. So all of you guys will be witnessing and participating in history today. So congratulations. What's going on, SGYT, Nick, Little Ja, Bacher, Pokemon? Who won the polls? That's a good question. Will Discord choose to load and get those numbers correctly? Because I know they usually don't. Okay, week 13, Browns-Ravens has 8 votes. Week 14, Wizards-Jags has 8. Week 15, a couple games have 6. Week 16, Jaguars-Browns has 8. I feel like the most productive thing to do, if those are the 3, would be to not watch the Browns versus the Jaguars, since both of them already have other games being picked. Oh, and then Week 17 is a game with 9 votes, the Bears and the Beats. Okay, so we have a 3-way tie for second, and 1 team with 9. So we're watching the Bears and Beats for sure in Week 17, and then we are going to have a vote between the other 3 games. So vote for the game that you want to watch. If you want to watch Browns versus Ravens, type in North. If you want to watch Wizards and Jaguars, type in South. If you want to watch Browns and Jaguars, type in, I don't know, East. So North for this game, the Browns and Ravens, the 2 North teams. South for the Wizards and Jaguars, the 2 South teams. And then East for Browns and Jaguars, because I guess those teams are closer to the East. North, South, North. A lot of North and South. So it looks like we won't be watching both the Browns and the Jags. We might only be watching one. The loser will get simcasted, keep in mind. So I did endorse this game. If it stays in a tie and I'm the tie-breaking vote, I mean, hold on. Let me check the AFC South standings real quick, because I know it's very close. Yeah, they're both 6-5. But the Ravens and Browns are probably both a little bit better, and they're also both competing for playoff spots. So do you choose the 2 better teams or the closer division race? That's the question here. Do we have any other votes? Going once, going twice. Going 3 times. I'll give it another couple of seconds. Okay, so I guess I get to be the tiebreaker. I mean, the Browns-Ravens is better, but we haven't watched Jacksonville this year. We've watched the Wizards, I think, a couple times. We've watched the Browns a couple times, and I think we've watched the Ravens once. I do want to watch the Jags at some point this year. Who do they play in Week 18? Hold on. If they play a good team in Week 18, then I'll pick the Browns game. If not, then I don't know. Let's see. They play the top. Oh, yeah. Okay, then we can watch this. Then I'll pick the Browns game, because this is going to be probably a highly voted on game in Week 18, assuming both teams are still in the playoff race. So, yeah, I'm good with the Browns and Ravens then. The two... Oh, and I forgot. These are the two leading MVP candidates. Yeah, this is the right choice. Just so we can get some context here for storyline purposes... This is why. Bang, bang. The two best quarterbacks statistically in the league this year, Russell Wilson and Dan. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2. 1. The Browns, and I'm already on the Browns. Perfect. He wants throwback whites. SGYT is here, so he can pick his jerseys too. Yeah, those are the throwback white ones. And then all purple. Good choice. Is that the Color Rush ones, I think? Yes. So all white and all purple. You guys know ball. So we're kicking off our 5-week stream with an AFC North battle between the 9-2 Ravens, who had the best record in the entire league, against the 7-5 Cleveland Browns. I guess the Browns have a bye week, I guess, next week, because they haven't had one yet since they played 12 games. Week 14 seems so late for a bye, but I feel like in real life, that's like an advantage, which is why the league gave the Packers a Week 14 bye week in real life. Although it doesn't matter because they stink, but that's besides the point. I think the Bears also have a bye in Week 14, so hopefully they can string together some wins at the end of the year and not pick as high. I'd rather not have Will Anderson or Jalen Carter on another team in my division. I would just rather have them on my team. So here come the Browns, led by the reigning MVP, Russell Wilson, who's probably on pace to win it again. Ooh, that was close to being a disaster. Now, Russ has got some weapons. He's got Jamar Chase. He's got Tyreek Hill. Is IT Thomas healthy? I think so. IT Thomas, I'm pretty sure, is back. I might be wrong about that. I thought IT Thomas missed all of the last stream, though, and then he'd be back today, but he's not in the backfield. Combined for 110 points. I mean, based on how the Browns play and watched, I don't even know if both of these teams are going to have 10 points to begin with. Although the Ravens' defense in the one watch game we've seen them were pretty bad. The Browns' offense in watched is like the stoppable force, and then the Ravens' defense is the movable object. What's going to win? The stoppable force or the movable object? Because one of them's going to have to do well, you'd think. How do I feel about Deshaun's first game back? Well, I mean, he was getting his feet wet. Obviously, he didn't play all that well, to the dismay of everyone. So sad. But, yeah, for Deshaun Watson, the football player, I wouldn't be too worried about it because he hasn't played in 2 years. Oh, it's intercepted! Bounced in the air like 3 times, and then caught by the defense. Just the 4th interception Russell Wilson has thrown all year. So that'll bring out Dan and the Ravens. If Russell Wilson's not the MVP, it might be this guy. 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the best team in the league. He is balling. Call me racist, but Watson is not the guy you'd let. I don't see how that's racist. I mean, that's just kind of factual. I mean, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. Jacoby Brissett. I don't know if I would say he got robbed. I mean, he wasn't that good. He wasn't horrible, but I mean, the Browns traded 3 first-round picks and gave Mr. Watson $230 million, so I mean, they should use him. Dan with a strike downfield. There's a nice throw. A couple of good passes early for Big Danny Boy, who's 18. I don't know, but is that Diggs? That looks like Diggs. It is Diggs. He looks weird wearing number 18, but okay. So Baltimore's getting pretty close to the end zone. It looks like they've got a good opportunity to strike first. Can Zeke be the one to do it? Nope, not on that play. Want the division lead, though we may somehow lose to the Aviators. I mean, the Aviators are pretty good. Record-wise, they're the worst team in the division, but they're still 500. So that's not an easy game at all. 18, the game has started. Not sure if you've noticed. Yeah, it has been a pretty bad 4 minutes for the Browns with a turnover, and their defense is not looking great on this first drive. I see Joe Barry is still employed here in Cleveland. Although they do get a goal. Oh, I thought that was third down. Okay, well then this is third down. I was about to say they get a goal line stance, but they didn't. Maybe they will on this play, though, or not. The Ravens are on the board first with a touchdown by who's won? That was a good catch. I said Joe Barry. Oh, that's the Packers guy. Yeah, I meant Joe Woods, but Joe Barry is also a horrible defensive coordinator as well, so I'm not entirely wrong. But yes, I meant Joe Woods. I'm here, but no sound. Okay, we can talk bad about Giddy's team. The Pioneers are frauds, guys, don't you think? They went 0-4 on the last stream. Just awful. Just terrible. Cortland Sutton with the score, and so the Ravens are on the board. Good start for Baltimore. We'll see if they can keep it going. However, the Lions are not 8-3. The Lions have like 5 losses. I don't know where you got that from, but they're not 8-3. Unless I'm missing something. What's their exact record again? They're not 8-3. Let's double check the standings here from the last stream. That'll give me my answer. They are 8-3. Huh. I didn't realize they were that good. I thought they were like 6-5. I did not realize the Detroit Lions were 8-3. Good for them. I mean, that's not good for us because they're in our division, but I didn't realize they were that good. Let it be known that the Bears were the first team to beat the currently 8-3 Panthers. That's not as impressive as when the Cardinals beat the Panthers last year because the Panthers had the best record in the league and the Cardinals were awful. Almost as awful as they are this year. Denmark is like the Hugh Jackson of the league. Just that Denmark isn't like as terrible. But, I mean, if you look at his record the last 2 years, I mean, it rivals Hugh Jackson. What's good, Candy? Welcome in. The Browns also beat the Panthers. Well, that's a good win. Not many teams can say they've beaten the Panthers, at least in the sim. And watch, they're a little bit more inconsistent. There's a good throw. Russell Wilson is starting to cook. Oh, he's 1 yard away from perfection. He's 6 for 9, but he has 68 yards. Oh, shucks. I mean, 6 for 9, 69 yards is a pretty hard feat to get. I remember when Jared Goff had it in an OFL Bowl a while back, an OFL 20 against us. I think that was like in the fourth quarter, too. How did he only throw 9 passes in like 3 quarters? That's pretty impressive. Are the Browns good? I mean, their record is 7-5, so it's not like they're great. But Their roster's very good. It's intercepted again! Poor Russ, man. He's had 2 interceptions today, and both of them have been tipped. Russ has only thrown 3 interceptions all year going into the game. Octi, turn up pick sliders, please. That's some perfect timing. I assume Giddy sent that before that happened. But both of Russ's interceptions have been tipped. That's horrible luck. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a great throw, but, geez, that's unfortunate. Perfection is 4 for 20 and 69 yards, or 6 for 9 for 420 yards. You might be onto something. We need to see somebody do that now. Dan takes a shot downfield. Oh, that should have been caught. That was a good throw. That was a great throw. I guess the safety did get over there, but still, that was a really good throw. It's the curse. Don't curse our boy Dan now. Too late. Oh, no. Not Dan. There's a good first down play. Dan's 7 for 8. He looks like an MVP in this game, whereas Russ doesn't. Although, again, I don't think the interceptions are all Russ's fault. But so far, Dan has looked a little bit better, I think it would be fair to say. How come the Ravens get random tip balls and we just suck? That's a good question. I don't know. 1 run play. Wow, they're not even trying to run the ball. Not that I entirely blame them. Dan is in the zone. Why is his name Dan? So for those who don't know the context of the story, this was what, back in season 2? For those who don't know, our great friend Denmark, who coaches the winless Cardinals, has a giant shed in his backyard. And he said that he would stay in his shed for a full 24 hours. And if that were to happen, I would give him a 99 overall player in the draft class with a player of his choosing. He wasn't a 99, but I made him really good. And he wanted the player to be named just Dan. So that's how Dan was born. Dan ended up being the number 1 pick. And, well, the rest was history. Although I remember I tried to keep it a secret that Dan was really good. And, well, he is really good. Ooh, Zeke is just short. They got to go for it. They got to go for it here on 4th and goal at the 1. I feel like they're going to kick. Oh, they are going for it. This would be a big stop, though, if the Browns can get it here. It'd only be a 1-possession game. And that's not going to happen. Ezekiel Elliott walks in the end zone for a touchdown. And the Ravens are playing much better than they did in their first watch game of the year against the Shamrocks. So any concerns we had with the Ravens going into the day, obviously it's early, but they have alleviated a lot of those concerns. So it's like Dan was made in a lab. Yeah, but if the lab was a shed, then that's how Dan was made. But he is like pretty much if Andrew Luck declared for the draft as like after his 3 years of eligibility, and if he was like close to his prime. That's pretty much what Dan is. Sim, it's time to sim. It is not time to sim. It's a 2-possession game. The Browns are not out of it, although it has not been pretty. You know, maybe we should have watched the Jaguars game instead. But there's still plenty of time. Cleveland's obviously a very good team. So this game is far from over. They just look really, really bad. Browns country, let's cry. There's a good throw. Other than the interceptions, Russell Wilson hasn't been that bad. 9 for 14. If you erase the 2 tipped interceptions, 9 for 12. He is doing it before the playoffs this time. I mean, with how deep the AFC is, I mean, there's a world where the Browns win like 9 games and don't get in. How do I feel about the Baker Mayfield news? I'm curious to see how he's going to do in San Francisco. Wink, wink. Is Baker old enough to where he doesn't have to go on waivers? I think Baker would still go on waivers. I feel like someone's got to pick him up before the Niners would be up. As like a backup. Maybe someone trying to keep him away from the Niners, like Seattle or something. That would actually kind of make a lot of sense now that I say it. So, Seattle, if you're listening, you know, that'd be smart. Next Titans episode, you got to get Malik to go 6 for 9, 69 yards. Well, I mean, I can't really do that when he can't throw the ball with a broken arm, but next time he's healthy, we'll try. The Texans for Baker. That sounds good. Maybe the Texans win a couple extra games. Maybe the Rams pick passes them. Maybe. That'd be nice. So the Browns don't get the first down. They're going to choose to kick a field goal on 4th and 2. I guess this is the right call. I mean, it's a little bit early to get crazy and go for it, but I wouldn't bat an eye if they did. But they do score. So it's 14-3. Still a lot of damage control to do. I think the Ravens start with the ball in the second half. So, yeah, not good for Cleveland. Maybe they should have gone for it. I mean, their defense hasn't really shown any signs of, you know, doing anything today. Dan has been in the zone for a little while. He's only missed like 2 throws the entire game. Yeah, 10 of 12. He's cooking. It's downtime, folks. Please learn what the word coverage means. That doesn't apply to a Joe Woods defense. Or a Joe Barry defense, for that matter. Look at Zeke! He might go all the way! Yup! That's a touchdown. So it's a 3-score game, but since it is the first half, but since we're going through 5 weeks today, I kind of want to move through the games quicker, so we might just start simcasting now. Normally we would watch until at least halftime, but since we're going through more weeks than normal today, I think we're going to simcast. Although if it gets even a little bit close, we'll hop in. Which, I mean, with how good the Ravens are in the sim, I don't know if that's going to happen. Browns are trying to finally run the ball, which they have not done like all day. Trell White is starting. Is IT still hurt? I guess he is. 4th and 4. They kick. Oh! Ravens had a long touchdown. Who made the play? DJ Moore, 60 yards. Back-to-back drives with 60-yard touchdowns. Yikes. Russell Wilson with a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, well, let's go a little bit faster. Yeah, another long play. 50 yards to DJ Moore. We're going to speed this up. This is ugly. No score change so far here in the third. Browns score a touchdown. Okay. The Ravens chew like 7 minutes of clock and score. Did the Ravens score every time they had the ball today? I feel like they did. They had the ball like once or twice in the second half. That's it, but that's all they needed to do. So Baltimore blows out the Browns 42-20. I would argue the game wasn't even as close as the score shows. I mean, the Ravens dominated. Looking at the stats, Russell Wilson did not play like an MVP. Again, the interceptions weren't really his fault. If you take off the interceptions, this looks like a pretty good stat line. But he didn't play great. You know who did play great? Big old Danny boy. So the race between Russ and Dan gets even closer. Zeke was good. Man, they're actually kind of missing IT Thomas. I didn't think I would say that. Devontae Smith and Bernard Stratton play well for... Who's Bernard? Oh, they have Tommy Tremble out. I forgot about that. DJ Moore, 4 for 119 and 2. I'm in favor of execution. We need Brian Kelly on the Browns sideline. Fairley and Murray had the 2 interceptions. Or Farley, because I always say his name wrong. Caleb Farley. It's far, not fair. I have not engraved that into my head, and I've had a series with him last nearly 2 full seasons. All right, it is sim time. Let's see what happens here in Week 13. And then I think we've got a few consecutive weeks of simcasting games until we get to Week 17, which is where we've got our watch game. The Bucks still stink. Do they play the Cardinals at all this year? That's like the tank bowl of all tank bowls. If they do. That would have been funny if they played the last week of the year. Arizona. They scored 27. Okay. 27 points with a punter at quarterback. How about that? Austin Eckler played really well. Wonder how Sally did. We'll take a look at Sally and the punters. I don't think we can look at the punters' passing stats now that I think about it, even though he threw the ball. The Chiefs lose to New England. New England is such a weird team. They're not good, but they are like kind of good. I don't get it. I mean, not that like them beating the Chiefs is a surprise. The Chiefs stink, but that's besides the point. Mexico City loses to the Rams. Okay, close win in overtime for LA. Neither quarterback was all that spectacular. 69 yards for Cameron Latu. Nice. The Dolphins. They beat the Broncos 28-10. So the Dolphins stay red hot and Denver stays ice cold. Nobody wants to win the AFC West. It's so weird. Both the Broncos and the Diablos are like collapsing. Now, one of those teams is still going to win the division because the Diablos and Chiefs are horrible. But neither of those teams wants to win the division. And the Dolphins are trying to make a run for a wild card spot. They probably won't win the AFC East because the beats are a little too good. The Falcons won. The Tigers beat the football team. Malik Willis played pretty well, though. Outperformed Trevor Lawrence, even though Trevor Lawrence's team won. J.K. Dobbins played very well. I guess he's the reason why the Tigers won the game. So a good win for Chicago, who needs all the wins they can get in a very close divisional race. The Niners. Oh, that's week 12. They had a bye week. The Giants lose to the Jaguars. Good win for Jacksonville. 31-24. Noah Syverson playing well. We're going to see the Jags twice today with simcast games, and if they get close, then we'll hop in and watch. Why did the NFL not flex the Saints and Bucks out of Monday Night Football? Well, I guess the NFL was hoping that maybe we would get to watch Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans have an all-out brawl, but I don't think Marshawn Lattimore's going to play. I think we played the Huskies this week, so please win. Oh, we play them this coming week. Okay, the Huskies had a bye week. We saw that. The Jets lose to the Bears, 42-28. Cordell Banks appears to be pretty good. It's crazy that Carson Strong was an MVP candidate 5 weeks in, and now his backup is doing better. Vince Bryant played well, too. 4 touchdowns. What college did Dan go to? I think he went to Morehead State, because Dan wants Morehead. The Lions, oh, great. They're 9-3. We scored all 17 in the fourth quarter. We were down 20-0 and nearly won. Shane Arsenio was good. Jack was fine. I mean, he didn't play much worse than Hector has throughout the year. So, wow, how many times did he get sacked? 8. Who do the Lions even have on their defensive line for him to get sacked 8 times? Malik McDowell had 4. You're telling me the guy who runs into like daycare centers without any clothes on is the same guy who has 4 sacks against our team? Ed Oliver had 2. Justin Madubuike had 2. Jeez. So yeah, we're not winning the division pretty much. Wild card is cool. The Pioneers, just like the Broncos, they are still collapsing. Justin Flo, future Clemson legend. Justin Flo for DJ. Who says no? That seems like a fair trade. if Bo doesn't come back, but it seems like he is going to come back, so I guess not. New England, they won. The Pioneers have lost 5 in a row. No, 5 in a row. At least this week they lost to a good team. Have there been any teams that have gone winless? It has never happened in OFL history, but it could be different this year with the Cardinals, who are 0-12. Did we see this game? We did not. The Aviators beat the Shamrocks. Good one for Columbus. Dickey Cock Launcher with 3 touchdowns. Is that everybody? We did them. Have we done the Wizards? We've not done the Wizards because they played and lost to the Beats. I think the Wizards are currently in last place in their division, albeit not by much because the division is super close. Joe Burrow outplays Patrick Mahomes. Is Joe Burrow starting to make a case for the MVP? Alex Morton outplays his fellow rookie standout, Jerry Wilkinson. Who else have we not done? We have not done the Bats. They beat London. The Bats are quietly pretty good. Even though they choose not to use Christian McCaffrey for whatever reason, they're still pretty decent. Did CMC get the ball this week? Nope. Shocker. I think he still has 1 carry all year. You know, Christian, if you had signed with us for negative $2.5 million in the preseason, we'd be getting you the ball. The Bison had a bye week. I think we've gone through everybody. Yeah, because we used Cleveland. Dad, what should we name our child? Mom, let's name them Dickey Cock Launcher. Perfect. W parents, am I right? Players of the week. Cordell Banks, Dan, Malik McDowell, yuck, and Keon Johnson of the Shamrocks with 2 sacks. Former number 1 overall pick. Couple number 1 overall picks with Dan and then Keon Johnson. Let's take a look at the standings here going into Week 14. Nobody has clinched yet. The Ravens increased their lead in the AFC North. Everybody's still well within the race. 3-way tie for first in the South. If the Wizards had won, then all 4 teams would be 7-5. In the East, the Beats should still win the division. New England is 7-5. How about them? And then the Dolphins are not too far behind at 6-7. AFC West, the Broncos have lost 3 in a row. The Pioneers have lost 5 in a row. Who's going to win this division? The Lions are 2 ahead of the Huskies and Bears, 3 ahead of the Vikings. The Panthers lead the North, despite... No, they won. Yeah, they won. The Bats lead the East, with the Giants losing, but all 4 teams are still in it. And then the Niners and the Rams, who have won 6 in a row, are tied for the lead in the West. The Cardinals are 0-13, so they have a bye week this week. So Arizona only has 4 more games left. So they legitimately might go winless. All right, Week 14. This is the Jaguars and somebody. I think the Jaguars and the Wizards. Right? Yeah, and this is one of our 3 Simcast games of the week. I don't think Joe Burrow is past Russ yet, but he's getting closer. I think Russ is still probably in first. But... it's a lot more of the conversation, especially with Dan, and then I think Burrow's in there. I think Trey Lance is in there. Joe Mixon, certainly, although his team is playing like Dookie. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2.
It's 1.
That would be, I think, the Wizards. I mean, Russ wasn't that bad in the game against the Ravens. It was mainly that the team was awful. Russ did throw the 2 interceptions, but they weren't really entirely his fault. Are either coaches here? Datchin's here, so he can pick the Wizards jerseys. I mean, not that there's really much to choose from between white and dark. It's kind of similar to the Jags color. I feel like we should just stick with white just so it's not confusing if we do hop in and watch. So this will be one of our 3 Simcast games of the day. And if it's close, we will hop in and watch. Oh, you put all purple in right as I click the button. Oopsie poopsies. That's my bad. I should have gave you more time to think about it. Oh, the Wizards are looking good early. But the Jags respond with 14 right back. Wizards are back on top. Can they hold on to the lead? Nope. Jags tied up. Okay, this is getting interesting. Let's see if they score. They do. Well, let's see what happens on this Jaguars possession. I think if they score, we're going to hop in. And they don't score. But they punt it to the 1. What a punt. That's such a long kick. They were down at like the 20-yard line. Can the Wizards finish it off? They don't. I think we're going to hop in here. Jaguars had the ball. 4 minutes to go. Down by 7. If I make a quarterback, can I make the weakness throwing interceptions? I mean, I guess you could make their strength accuracy, but... Oh, wait, no. You would want to make their weakness accuracy. I don't think you can, like, make a player throw a lot of interceptions, but I guess if you notch down his accuracy numbers, then he'll probably throw more interceptions. The interceptions were mainly because EA decided now would be the time to catch tip passes. Yeah, pretty much. Neither of them were all that great at throws. Why does Chuba Hubbard have 135 yards? Is Derrick Henry, like, hurt or something? Because if he is, that's kind of a big deal. And Chuba Hubbard has not missed a beat, it looks like. 3rd and 4. Syverson is intercepted. And the Wizards are going to walk it off. A pick 6 for 31. I don't know who that is. I can't really see the name. Connor Sellers. I don't know who that is, but he just won his team the game. All right, it's a 2-score game. We can go back to simming, I guess. So it looks like the Wizards should win. The Wizards, more like the Orlando Winners. I don't know how I've never made that joke. Okay, the Jags score. Onside kick goes to the Wizards, so they're going to run the ball, choose some clock, and they end it. Okay, so the Wizards are going to win the game. Oh, the Jaguars had the ball. Okay, maybe not. Maybe they'll have enough time for a Hail Mary. Hold on. Yeah, they're going to have time for a Hail Mary, which, if we know anything about this game, I mean, it's more than possible. He's lucky that was dropped. If that was caught by either player, the game would have been over. All right, it's Hail Mary time. Can Noah Syverson do it? Walmart, Trevor Lawrence. It'd be a 66-yarder. Does he have the arm strength to get it there? He does, but it's incomplete. So the Orlando Wizards hold on for a big division win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. So both teams are now 7-6, I believe. This AFC South race is really something else. With all 4 teams neck and neck. Noah Syverson was okay. Patrick Mahomes was more than okay, throwing for 4 touchdowns. Yeah, Derrick Henry got injured. And Jaden Jackson did. So both running backs got hurt. Although I guess Tyzee Howard is the starter anyway. Dachenko Dali, 6 for 66. Devil much? He did score, though. That's been his one issue this year, and sure enough, he scored. So that's cool. All right, it is sim time here for Week 14. W win. WW. Please don't lose, team. I kind of need you guys to win, please. The Columbus Aviators, nice win last week. They had a bye week. The Bats beat San Francisco 42-28. So Austin holds on to the lead in the NFC East. The Niners will not hold on to the lead if the Rams win again. It would be their 7th in a row. Derek Williams, who are you? He was very good, as was Colt Riggs. What did you miss? We just finished simcasting one of your guys' games. You ended up winning 35-28, but you did lose your first game today, so you guys are 1-1 so far in the stream. The Bears lose to Atlanta. Oh, look at the Falcons. Cordell Banks comes back down to earth, but he wasn't horrible. Tyrell Sherman with a sack, the rookie. The Brooklyn Beats beat the Jets 35-10. So the wins keep on coming here for the Beats. It looks like if everything were to hold up, they're probably going to get one of the top 2 seeds with them in Baltimore. So obviously they're really going to go hard for that number 1 spot so they can have a first-round bye, because with this game, you never know who wins any individual watch game, and number 2 seeds don't have great track records, I've noticed, throughout the wild card round. Alex Morton with another really good game. He is really, really good. Per my sources, Russ threw for 385 yards and 4 touchdowns during the bye week, but the defense still allowed 35 points and lost. The Bison beat the Tigers, so this means Oklahoma City is in first place in the division. I think everybody is 7-6, and I think they're 8-5. Josh Allen with a perfect passer rating and 5 touchdowns. Jameson Williams was good. So was Alvin Kamara. 2 catches for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the Bison are a game ahead of everybody in the division. Who do they still have to play? The Jags, tough game. Giants, tough game. Shamrocks, they're really good. And then the Jets is a little bit easier. So it's a hard schedule, but they could theoretically go 3-1 here, which I think would be enough to win the division. Maybe 2-2 would even be enough. The Black Knights lose to the Giants. So London's probably not going to be a playoff team this year. The Giants in a dogfight for the division and I guess a wild card spot too. The Broncos finally win again. Their 5-game losing streak has snapped as they beat New Orleans. Andy Morrison was still pretty mid. Nope, that's the wrong button. The Browns, they had a bye week. The Bucks, ooh, upset. Hello, the 2-win Buccaneers beat the Panthers in overtime. That's a surprise. I did not see that one coming. Christian Kirk, 10 for 152. The Christian Kirk agenda is pleased. Week 15 is a tie, yeah, so we'll have a vote for the tiebreaker. The Cardinals had a bye week and lost. The Chiefs lose to the Diablos 6-9. It's perfect. Both of these teams are so bad, so it makes so much sense. That's such a great score. 6-9. Oh, man, that's glorious. Nobody scored in the first half, and then what? They just answered back with field goals? That's a pretty nice score, not going to lie. Obviously, both QBs were pretty bad. McWidget had a touchdown. So what? Did they miss the extra point or something? I guess. Yeah, these two teams would end 6-9. A lot of tackles for loss. Wow, that is a lot. Yeah, they obviously won 6-9. The Dolphins had a bye week. Falcons won. Washington loses to the Rams, who have won 7 in a row. LA now in first place of the West. DJ Uiagalelei, 18 of 22. Javonte Williams, nice amount of rushing yards. I don't know if we've ever had a final score be 6-9. That's pretty good. The Niners lost. The Giants won. And the Vikings still suck because we allowed 21 in the fourth quarter. Jack Jackson was pretty mediocre. Why did Lenny start? I definitely made Justin Fields the starter. Because Hector did say to put Fields as a starter, and I vividly remember doing it. I guess I'll do it again, but did he get injured? Was he hurt? I definitely made Justin Fields the starter. Not that it matters, because, they still won. OFL scoregami, it might be. Yeah, it seems like the offense was pretty blah. 3 sacks for Chase Young. Why is our offensive line so terrible? It's like the old Huskies offensive line. The Jags obviously lost. The Jets, we saw that one, I think. The Lions lose to Seattle. That's an upset. After that, I think we have New England. And they win again. What is happening in Salt Lake City? They have now lost 6 in a row after going 7-0. They really are the 2021 Arizona Cardinals. Adam Bennett had a perfect passer rate. Who is Adam Bennett? Is he a backup? He probably threw like one pass. Was that in this game? He threw 2 passes. Oh. We were on the Patriots. We saw the Pioneers. Baltimore, I don't think we've seen them. They lose to Dublin. Wow, big win for the Shamrocks. Dan with 3 interceptions. Not helping his MVP case out. I think Dublin's only back by a game, and they had the head-to-head over Baltimore because they beat them twice. And the Ravens' only other losses to the Wizards. New Orleans, I think we saw them. Yeah. Seattle won. We saw that. We saw the Tigers. We saw this mess. We really lost to all 3 division teams in a row. That's pretty bad. Thankfully, our schedule gets really easy. I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't win out these next 3. Bears is going to be a little harder. But what are we, 6 and 7? Ugh, I don't like our chances. I think we've gone through everybody, yeah. Players of the week here in week 14, we've got Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Birch, and then Sellers with the game-winning pick 6. AFC North beating each other up while the Browns play patty cake with crayons stuck up their nose. Has anybody clinched? Nope, not yet. The AFC North, big win for the Shamrocks for only down by a game, and they had the head-to-head tiebreaker over Baltimore. The Bison lead the South by a game over everybody. The Beats still up by 2 in the East. The Broncos now lead in the West. The Pioneers have lost 6 in a row. The Lions lead the North, although the Huskies are not too far behind, as are the Bears, and then we have this mess. The Panthers lead the South. They have the number 1 seed. The Bats lead the East, and then the Rams lead the West, with the Cardinals sitting at 0-13. The lovable losers. Okay, so for this week, I believe we have a tie, don't we? Week 14. Or no, week 15. We're in week 15. Yeah, 3-way tie between the Ravens and the Tigers, and then the Broncos and the Beats. Those are 2 good games. So if you want to watch Ravens and Tigers, type in Dan. If you want to watch Broncos and Beats, type in Joe. For Big Joe. Or Dan Law and Joe Burr. Yeah, that works too. Just make it clear what game you want to see. And keep in mind we're simcasting this game. We're not watching it. Yeah, week 16 we're simcasting Jags and Browns, and then week 17 we're watching the Bears and the Beats. What do you think of the Lions' playoff chances right now? I don't think we're going to get a spot. I mean, put it this way. I think we are one of the 7 best teams in the conference right now. Maybe not overall throughout the entire season, but right now I would say we are. But I think there's too many hurdles to climb, so I'm not getting my hopes over it. I'm just more so focused on seeing the team progress and win more games rather than get a playoff spot, because that's just not likely. Although it seems like a lot of Lions fans are like really hoping on it, but I don't see it happening. How are you 7-6? You've lost 6 in a row. And are still probably going to make the playoffs. Let's look at the playoff picture. Let's get ourselves a little update. So the Panthers and the Beats are currently the number 1 seeds. Got some interesting matchups here. The Pioneers are not currently in here. Dan, Joe, Dan. Wow, we're tied again. Any other vote? Going once, going twice? We did already watch the Ravens today, and we will be watching the Beats. Dan, that's another vote for Dan. So Dan takes a 3-2 lead. Any other votes? Going once? Going twice? How do you lose 6 straight? I mean, the Cardinals have lost 13 straight, so it's not like mathematically impossible. Maybe all the Browns needed was Deshaun Watson's integrity and respect. Known women respecter Deshaun Watson. What a great human being. Okay, no more votes it looks like, so I think we're going to simcast the Ravens and the Tigers. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2.
It's 2.
2. I think the Tigers are 2. Right? I don't see their game here. I guess it's the one game that's not going to show. But, yeah, I think the Tigers are home. The Ravens are 10-3 coming off a loss. The Tigers are 7-6 in the midst of a very close divisional race. Look at the all oranges. So beautiful. I guess since it's a Simcast game, we can try to squeeze through it quicker. Trevor Lawrence, the Golden Locks. We want fast. All right, let's see if the Ravens can win. They score quickly. The Tigers answer right back. Ravens looking good. They lead 20-10, 23-10 going into halftime. The Tigers respond to the touchdown, though, although the Ravens answer right back. Okay, I was going to say go a little bit slower, but I don't know if the Ravens' offense is going to stop. Yeah, I think this game looks like it's about over. All right, so the Ravens will be able to win 45-31. Looks like Dan got back to his MVP ways. Baltimore now with 11 wins. Implementing a new strategy where before the games are simmed, I leave, so I don't see how much we lost by. What if you win, though? Trevor Lawrence, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Dan didn't necessarily light the world on fire, but, 4 touchdowns is pretty darn good. So you can't really get too mad. Hello, JMO, 218 for Jamison Williams. I think that's pretty good, even though his team lost. We didn't allow the most points to the Ravens today. Congrats, I guess. All right, let's see what happened in Week 15. Okay, so you guys have a few minutes. It's going to be real funny when he finds out his team won. Although, knowing them, I don't know if that's going to happen. Let's start with... Oh, God. I don't think I want to see this. Oh, we won. It is the Bucs. If we lose to the Bucs, then there are really serious questions. Jack Jackson played really well, although I think Hector is going to be back this week, so that's good. But at least Jack played well and got us a win. Najee Harris did good, so the Vikings are keeping my hope for a little bit longer. Cam Curl's him. He is that guy. The Wizards lose to London. Eek. That's not a good loss. Do the Vikings have a shot at the wild card? We certainly have a shot. We need a lot of things to go our way, but we do have a pretty easy schedule. So hopefully we can put matters into our own hands, and then hopefully one or two of those teams in the wild card race can kind of falter. Not the Aviators. For whatever reason, I thought the Bears were next. The Browns win 35-28 over Columbus. Russell Wilson, 4 touchdowns, back to his MVP self for the most part. Dickie Cocklauncher was solid. I.T. Thomas, back and healthy. 4.2 yards a carry. Improvement. The Bats have won 4 in a row. They beat the Giants 36-35. Dak is playing some good football. Boston is not a bad team at all, even though they don't use their best player. For Lord knows what reason. But it doesn't seem like they really need him. The Bears beat the Dolphins 37-20. Good win for Chicago. The Dolphins are kind of in a similar spot as us. They need to string together as many wins as possible, so losing this week isn't ideal, although Julian Fleming balled out. The Beats win again. They beat the Denver Broncos 28-14. That's a good win. Joe Burrow was solid. Andy Morrison was also, I guess, solid. 3 sacks for Brian Brzee. The Bison beat the Jags 35-3. I don't know about you, Johnny, but that looks like a pretty good win. Josh Allen really played well here down the stretch. Noah Syverson, not so much. We'll be simcasting the Jags game next week, and we'll see if we can get back on the win column. So the Bison look like they're in the driver's seat to win this division as of now. Still, obviously, 3 more weeks to go, and everybody's still in it, but the Bison look like they're in a good spot with the other 3 teams losing this week. The Cardinals won! They did it! The Arizona Cardinals won a football game. They scored 5 points in the 3rd quarter and beat Seattle 19-10. No winless season in the desert. Seattle lost to a punter, although they would have been better off if their punter played quarterback because Hugh Richards threw 4 interceptions. Geez, Seattle's offense played miserably. Isn't this the same team who just beat the Carolina Panthers, the #1 seed in the conference last week? Man, Arizona really does own the Panthers. My goodness, Tyson Campbell, 2 interceptions. Seattle had 4 picks of their own. So it doesn't look like the punter at quarterback played very well. You did not win. You actually did win. The Chiefs. If they had won 2 this week, then my head would have just about exploded. Seattle Seahawks, what happened? How do you lose to a punter playing quarterback? Lamar Jackson, 90% completion percentage. Good win for Dublin, although the Chiefs are, bad. The Diablos get smothered by the Pioneers, who finally win for the first time since week, 7. Jerome Diggs played really well. So the Pioneers are back tied for first in the division. Seems I may have put it together this year, and it seems like with all some of the other top teams shooting themselves in the foot, you guys might be in a good spot. The Dolphins, they lost. The Falcons have won 3 in a row. Could Atlanta make a run for a wild card spot again? Washington has now lost 4 in a row as they lose to the Panthers 24-20, although Bryce Young was not very good. He was outplayed by Malik Willis. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 3 touchdowns. Very good game from him. So Carolina holds on to the #1 seed in the conference. Kenny Clark, 4 sacks, 2 for Jeffrey Simmons. Geez, that is a nasty interior. And don't forget, they have Marcus Davenport and Rashawn Gary. That's a pretty good front unit. The Niners beat the Rams. Big win for San Francisco. They're back on top of the NFC West. Trey Lance and DJ Uiagalelei both played really well. As a non-quarterback, won MVP. Okay, someone tell him no, but this year could change that with Big Joe. Although Jerome Diggs did kind of win them the game this week, but still, Jerome Diggs is really good. But I don't think we've had a non-quarterback win MVP, at least since we started the MVP voting last year. The Huskies lost to Detroit. I guess that's good news for us, because it's kind of set that the Lions are going to win the division at this point. So I guess the more Husky losses, the better. Shane Arsenault, 5 touchdowns. He is legit. Look out for the Lions, man. Who do they have left on their schedule? That's not the Lions. The Lions have the Panthers, Jags, and Patriots. Okay, that's a tough end of the year. Carolina's obviously really good. Winner of this game probably gets the 1 seed. How is your team done? Well, the good news is you beat us. Oh, that's not really an accomplishment because we stink right now. And then you lost to Detroit. So you're 1-1 today. New England beats the Jets. Patriots look like they're probably going to find their way in the playoffs. Kyle Taylor is back, although with how Demaryius Johnson is playing, I honestly would have stuck with him. But Kyle Taylor only missed 3 passes, so maybe they don't need to bring Johnson back. A lot of sacks. 2 for Peyton Turner, 2 for Titus Arrington, the rookie, and 2 for Caleb Cole, another rookie. The Lions won. The Panthers won. New England won. The Pioneers won. Rams lost. Ravens won. And I think that is everybody. Did we see the Saints? Yes, we did. We saw Seattle embarrassingly lose to the Cardinals. Players of the week. Who do we got? Shane Arsenio, Josh Allen again, Shaq Barrett, and Will Anderson. Has anybody clinched? Nobody has clinched a playoff spot with 3 weeks to go. The Ravens still up by 1 in the North. Everybody won except for the Aviators. The Bison are now 2 games ahead in the South. So OKC looks like they are in a very good spot here to win the division with them winning this week and everybody else losing. So as long as the Bison don't completely mess this up, they should be fine. The Beats, they probably clinch with a win at this point. New England still looks like they're going to be a playoff team. The Pioneers and Broncos deadlocked at 8-6. The Lions lead the North at 10-4. All the other 3 teams are well in the wild card race, but it looks like Detroit will win this division. The Panthers are pretty close to clinching the South, although Atlanta's not out of it. They're only back by 2. The Bats are pretty close to clinching the East. And then the Niners are back on top in the West with a big win against the Rams. The Wizards are 1-6 at home and 6-1 at the road. How is that possible? So here's our playoff picture. I thought it said Cleveland was 2 for a second. I was very confused. But yeah, the AFC North currently has 3 playoff teams. The NFC North only has 2, but the other 2 are not far behind. Okay, 3 more weeks to go. We've got another Simcast game this week. And then week 17, we have our second watch game of the day. Jaguars and Browns, that's right. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2.
It's 2.
2, I think that's Cleveland, yes. Nick wants to be all oranges before he leaves. Both teams certainly could use a win here. The Browns are now currently the 7th seed. The Jags only a game back. So if the Jags were to win this game, that head-to-head tiebreaker over Cleveland could prove to be a really big deal. Oh, brown on oranges. Orange pants. Let's see. Those are the color rush ones, right? Nope. The alternates. That's what they are. Yeah. Okay, there we go. 3 more weeks left to go in the final regular season of OFL 22. That starts with this matchup between the Browns and the Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Cleveland currently the 7th seed in the playoffs. They certainly want to keep that spot. They want to take the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Jaguars. Jacksonville, this is pretty much a must-win game for them. If they win, there's a clear path for them to make the playoffs. If they lose, not so much. So this is as important as it gets for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want to know how bad my math grade is? How bad is your math grade, Hector? I can't wait to see this. I got a 90 on my test. Oh, good for you. And I still have an F. Yikes. You know what else is a yikes? The Browns are currently losing. Not for long, though. We're going to go slower. Okay, Cleveland has the ball. Trying to choose some clock, but they have to punt it. We're going to hop in. 4 minutes to go. 24-21. Jaguars with the ball and trailing. Primetime game 2? Yeah, Monday Night Football. Flag. I don't think there was a late hit, so it's probably going to be on the Jaguars. Oh, it was a late hit. Never mind. Roughing the passer. On no. Lenny Edwards has a higher winning percentage this year than Hector. That is sadly true. Is it, though? I think Hector would be a game over 500 because we're currently 7-7. And Jack went 1-2. So does that mean Hector would be a game over 500? Refs betting on... No, it's just EA not liking Nick. That's all it is. Is Ajabo ever going to play in real life? I mean, he got hurt during his pro day in March. So, what was it, an ACL or an Achilles? That's a DPI. Yeah, Madden really does hate Nick. Yikes. But yeah, Jabo's injury happened in March, so, I mean, a 9-month recovery, that seems a little bit quick. Jameson Williams missed 11 months. He got hurt in the championship. Yeah, 9 months for an ACL feels a bit unlikely, put it that way. Can't believe Octi benched Hector. I mean, I didn't. Hector benched himself by injuring himself, I guess. I would lock up Jameson Williams. I would pay to see that. Chuba Hubbard's having another pretty good game with Derrick Henry, I guess, out for an extended period of time. If it was real life Hector, he would have played through an ACL tear. That sounds like a great idea. Kerry McCoy, I think his name is Kerry, with the touchdown to put the Jaguars ahead with about 2 minutes to go. All right, Russ, this could be your MVP moment. Let's see what he can do. I think I played with a concussion for your last 3 games. That's not good. That also explains a lot. But that's not good either. Probably shouldn't, I don't know, do that. Is Carson Strachan still in? Carson Strachan doesn't even play anymore. He got benched. And Carson Strachan's replacement is like kind of better than him. 2-minute warning. The Jaguars season could be on the line, and possibly the Browns too. Arizona JV players who gave it all. Hector, 2-8, played through a concussion. Well, I guess your teammates can't doubt your heart. I don't know. They can doubt your mental capacity now, I would say. Nice throw and good catch, and it stops the clock. Russ fakes the sack, might get brought down, and he is. By Yarborough, his 3rd of the game. Cleveland does not call a timeout. I feel like that's a mistake. And then leave it to Russ to check it down for 4. You think we can beat Atlanta? I mean, Atlanta's red hot, but they're also not that spectacular. Thought this game was over. It is definitely not over. Russ chucks up a prayer on 3rd down. It's incomplete. What X factor in the secondary do the Jags have? Oh, didn't they sign Jalen Ramsey? Yeah, I think that'd be him. 4th and 15. This is probably it. Russ heaves it up again. Way overthrows it. It's still caught. That throw looked like it was way offline, but okay. That works too. They got to call a timeout now. Yeah, they can't keep holding on to those timeouts. Was that Russ's MVP moment? They didn't sign... was it the Dolphins? I feel like it was one of those Florida teams. The Jaguars signed somebody good. Maybe it wasn't Jalen Ramsey. Russ under pressure, sacked again by Yarborough, his 4th, and then the Browns waste 6 seconds and call a timeout. Those 6 seconds might not really matter, because what, isn't it 3rd down? It's 4th down already? I thought it was 3rd. Okay, well, this is it. 4th and 10. Game on the line. Russ for the end zone, and it's overthrown. Let Russ cook, the kid said. So the Jaguars survive 28-24 over the Browns. Jacksonville had to win this game, and they did just that. So I think both teams are now, what, 8-7? And Jacksonville now owns the head-to-head tiebreaker, which could be a really, really big deal if they finish with the same record. Russell Wilson was really good, but didn't make a big throw when he needed it. Noah Syverson was pretty good as well. Devontae Smith did his thing. Who is this Yarborough guy? Philip Yarborough, 4 sacks, 2 of which came at the end and watched, and then no interceptions. Ramsey is with Dublin. Okay, well, I got the colors right. I knew he signed with one of those green teams. Bench, Brandon Bethel. Okay. Well, Brandon, it was nice knowing you. But I guess you're going on the bench. For Torrey Haskins, any relations to Dwayne? Tre'Davious White, that's who they signed. You're right. Okay. That was the X factor in the secondary. You decide Jalen Ramsey at guard, Jamison Crowder. That would make sense if, Jamison Crowder was still playing football. Okay, let's see what happened in Week 16. Starting with the Bucks. They lose to the Saints 14-9. Yuck. There are some bad teams in this league, which makes it inexcusable that Carolina lost to these guys. I didn't get a happy birthday. Well, I didn't know it was your birthday, but happy birthday. Everybody wish Cobra a happy birthday in the chat. The Cardinals, what if they won again? Oh, they did not. Oh, yeah, they are doing the Heisman finalists. I'm going to try to guess. I think it's 4. I think it's going to be Caleb Williams, C.J. Stroud, Blake Corum. Who's going to be 4th? I mean, it should be Bijan Robinson, but I don't know if his team is good enough. Could be Bryce Young. Maybe Hendon Hooker. I think they're going to give it to Hooker. Caleb Williams, Stetson Bennett. I should have got Max Duggan. Yeah, that one makes sense. And then C.J. Stroud. Does Stetson Bennett really deserve it? Duggan, I agree with. Yeah, that's probably right. I don't know about Stetson, though. I mean, I know his numbers are good, but come on. I don't think Stetson Bennett belongs there over one of the running backs. My birthday was February 16th, Saturday at 11:57 a.m. Congrats. Congrats to Andy Morrison as well for finally having a good game. Throwing for 5 touchdowns. I guess it's not overly hard against the Chiefs, but still. You forgot Arizona legend Jaden No, I don't think we forgot him. The Niners beat the Diablos only by 6, but I guess a win's a win. Darian Kendrick, 2 picks. The Dolphins beat the Pioneers, so Salt Lake City goes back to the toilet. Denver's back in first place in the division. Hello, Jeff Sims. Have yourself a day. Cooper Kupp, 6 for 169 and 3, and then Julian Fleming was really good too. He made Omni the commish. Well, good luck with that. The Falcons, did we see them already? We did not. They beat Toronto. So Atlanta, who's won, I think, 4 in a row now, they're 4-0 today. It looks like the Falcons are going to grab a playoff spot. And going into the stream, they did not look like they were going to grab a playoff spot. The Washington football team finally wins. They beat the Bears. The Huskies and Bears both lost this week. That is good news for us. Start Lenny. Okay, I can do that. So with the Bears and Huskies both losing, now all we need to happen is for us to win. Who do we play this week? I think we play either New England or the Jets. We should win both games. Particularly the Jets. The Giants beat OKC. Maybe the AFC South race is going to be a little bit closer than expected here at the end of the year, although Josh Allen was really good. So was Mac Jones. I think the Heisman voting will be CJ, Caleb, Corum, and Bryce in that order. I don't think it's possible if Duggan and Stetson Bennett are there. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Although Corum and Bryce probably should be 5 and 6. Ricky Weatherford allowed 5 sacks. Geesh, Harold Landry with 4 of them. Is this Titans franchise Harold Landry showing up here? The Huskies lost. The Jags won. The Jets got smothered by the Ravens. Kansas basketball fell off. I don't know how that's possible considering Kansas basketball just won the national championship, but okay. Dan had 3 interceptions. His interception total is pretty high. I think he's at like 13 now. Stetson is a literal uncle. Stetson Bennett, although he's good at what he does, he's a game manager. I don't know how you can put a game manager in the Heisman consideration. I don't care how good your team is. Baycott owns Kansas. Yeah, Baycott's team lost to Kansas in the championship, so I don't think he owns them. Who won this game? The Panthers in overtime. So Carolina looks like they're going to get the 1 seed. Winner of this game probably would have gotten it, so I guess it'll be Carolina. Julian Bonerific with 2 touchdowns, though. Why does Toronto suck? I'm asking the same question about my team. And I think we're going to come up soon. Don't disappoint me, please. Yay! We won! 28-10. Good win. Hector Estrada coming back strong. Kyle Taylor sacked 9 times. 15 and 15 and a big fat L. Yeah, that's what happened. Najee with 2 touchdowns. McLaurin with 2 touchdowns. This is what you love to see. Holy hell! Myles Garrett had 6 sacks. Mother of God. Where has that been really for the past like 3 years? Myles Garrett had like 6 sacks all of last year. Have we gone through everybody? I don't think we went through this game. London beat Seattle. Both teams probably won't make the playoffs, but still, good win for London. Give yourself some pride at the end of the year, I guess. Oh, hello, Husker. Welcome in. You guys just beat the Lions, and I think you guys were tied for the best record in the conference. So, wrong button. So that means you guys are now a game ahead of the Lions, and you have the tiebreaker. So it looks like you'll get the 1 seed. But there's still a couple more weeks to go, so who knows? Lamar Jackson with another really good game. Did they win? Yeah, they did. And Austin's been playing pretty well, too, so this is a good win here for Dublin. Christian McCaffrey still not touching the ball. Terrace Marshall touched the ball 10 times and was pretty good. Have we gone through everybody? We have not gone through this game. The Tigers demolished the Wizards. Wow. Doesn't matter. EA will make us give up 700 rushing yards and lose in the first round. You mean lose in the second round? Because you'll have a bye? But, yeah, knowing EA, I wouldn't be surprised. Trevor Lawrence played really well. So the Wizards probably are not going to make the playoffs. Did I win or not? Yeah, you guys won this week, although your record isn't that great. We won. We saw the Wizards. Have we seen the Aviators game? We have not. They lose to the Beats. Big win for Brooklyn. So it looks like Brooklyn is pretty much locked in for a playoff spot. And I think with New England losing and them winning, they clinched the East. So congratulations to the Beats. The first team to clinch a playoff spot. Alex Morton is Himothy. The Bats. We saw that. And that. And that. And that. And that one. Okay, we've definitely covered them all. Yeah, we used it at the Browns. Gregorian Dortch would not have allowed this. How is Stetson a finalist over those guys? I couldn't tell you. Team success, I guess? Although that's a dumb reason. Players of the week, Javonte Williams, Jeff Sims, Myles Garrett with his 6 sacks, and then Philip Yarborough, who had 4. So I know the Beats have clinched. Carolina's probably clinched at least a playoff spot, maybe not the division. So the Beats clinch the division. Carolina clinches a playoff spot. The Ravens clinch a playoff spot, as do the Dublin Shamrocks. So we have our first 4 teams to clinch playoff spots here in Week 16. AFC North, one of these teams is going to win it. The Ravens currently have a 1-game edge, but Dublin does have the head-to-head tiebreaker since they swept them. And then the Browns and Aviators both fighting for wild card spots. The Bison still lead the South, but only by 1 game. The Beats clinch the East. New England going for a wild card spot. Dolphins are as well, although they need a lot to happen. The Broncos now lead the West by 1. The Lions should be able to clinch the NFC North soon, and then all 3 of these teams are tied. Oh dear. The NFC North is really trying to make my blood pressure boil. The Panthers can clinch the division with a win. The Bats are pretty close to clinching. And then the Niners and Rams are still tied. That's the wrong button. We want the playoff picture. So this is what it looks like here going into Week 17. And then what about some of the teams on the bubble? So the Pioneers and the Giants are the 7 seeds. So you've got teams like the Tigers, the Jags, and the Browns right on their tails. Dolphins, Wizards, and Aviators also still in it. And then in the NFC, the Giants were the 7th seed with the Huskies, Bears, and Vikings. The 3 NFC North teams right there. And then London 7 and 8. I guess they're not out of it. All right, so we're going to make Lenny the starter. And then we will watch our Week 17 game, which is the Beats and the Bears. Go Beats. I'm a diehard Beats fan since day 1. I mean, we need them. Who do I want? I want the Huskies. Why am I on the Peas? But we seriously do need the Beats to win, so that'd be nice. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2.
It's 1.
1. Who's 1? The Beats are 1. And the Beats are gonna, after this game, say they won. I mean, on paper, the Beats should be able to beat the Bears, which would be nice, considering I think the Bears have the tiebreaker over us. So we need to finish ahead of them. Black. Do the Bears have a black jersey in here? I don't know what they do. I know they have orange helmets. That's cool. But I don't know if there's a black jersey. The Beats white jersey with the purple pants is really clean. Yeah, I don't think there are any black jerseys in here. I mean, you've got whatever the hell this is, but I don't think anybody wants to see that. Wrong team? No, I'm on the right team. One of these days, instead of doing a number between 1 and 2, you should do a number between 4 and 5. That's honestly a good idea. I think I'm going to do that for Week 18. That's actually a good idea. Oh, throwbacks. I thought you said black jersey. So you've got this. Yeah, you want to wear this, and then the Beats wear purple? Bears. Then where did I see black? Oh, the Beats asked for black jerseys. My bad. I thought that was the Bears. Okay. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Perfect. The Bears are wearing white, and the Beats are wearing black. Okay. There we go. My bad. I thought the Bears asked about black jerseys. Is that snow? Do we have our first snow game of the year? I think we do. Week 17 in Chicago. The Beats and the Bears have a lot to fight for. Why is he wearing 27? Jesus Christ. So the Brooklyn Beats are the only team in the league to clinch their division. They're currently fighting for the number 1 seed in the AFC. The Bears are just out of the wild card spot. They're in a close tie with the Giants, who I think are the 7th seed, along with the Huskies and the Vikings. So if you're the Giants, if you're the Huskies, if you're the Vikings, like yours truly, then you are a Beats fan. If you're a team fighting for seeding in the AFC, like the Ravens or the Shamrocks, really that's it, one of those teams, then you are rooting for the Bears. Yeah, I think those are the only 3 teams who can get the 1 seed of the AFC. The Beats, the Ravens, or the Shamrocks. What is your record? You guys are tied with the Rams, and I think you have the tiebreaker. I think you guys are like 9 and 6? Something like that? Yeah, both the Niners and the Rams are 9 and 6. I guess the Rams are the 6th seed, and Atlanta would be the 5. Why is Cordell wearing 27? I guess the Bears didn't have any numbers available, so he has to wear 27. You should make it so it shows scores. The reason why I can't do that is because I'm usering every team, so it wouldn't work. If it could show the scores, I would let it, but since I'm usering every team, it doesn't work. Go Bears. Must take home number 2. Number 2 what? Oh, MVP. But, oh, because of Burrow. Oh, okay. Then that makes sense. What's good, Colin? Welcome in. Am I a good dad? You're a great dad. I wish you were my dad. Hopefully we beat the Rams, and some lady... You did beat the Rams like 2 weeks ago. Some lady bought $1,300 of groceries. Okay. That's a lot of money. Joe Burrow also is a lot of money, and I hope he plays up to his contract today because we need the Bears to lose. There's a big play. Dawson Knox, hotty toddy. Octi's brain melted while reading my message. It did. Oh, hey, my guy. So far, so good on this opening drive from the Beats. They have it at the 24-yard line, but they do it the 3rd and 3. And I think he got it. Yeah, he got it. So now they're in the red zone. It is nice having a snow game. I feel like we haven't had a snow game in a while, which would make sense considering we haven't been in like snowy weather since like last season. But even like last year, I don't remember many snow games in the playoffs. Nice touchdown. Who's number 9? Whoever that is, he's an X Factor. Would that be our good friend Alex Morton? Does Alex Morton have X Factor? He sure plays like an X Factor, I'll tell you that. So the Beats drive down the field, score a touchdown. Looking for win number 13 on the year. I spent so much money. How much money did you spend? I'm mad at my defense. We should be 12. I mean, 11 and 4 is pretty darn good, too. And you guys do it the head-to-head tiebreaker over Baltimore. So I just looked at the bottom. The Huskies play London. That's a tough game. So even though I think the Huskies and the Bears both had the tiebreaker over us, the Bears obviously are playing a really good team right now. The Huskies play a decently good team, and we play the Jets. So that should bode well for us because the Jets aren't very good. But with how the Vikings have played this year, you never know. We could beat them 40-0, or we could lose by 20. Octi doesn't know people's numbers. Fraud commish. Common Octi L. Octi does not know ball in the slightest. Seems like the Bears are trying to get the ground game working early with James Robinson. Is Banks a superstar? It looks like it. That's pretty good for what, like a 7th-round pick? Didn't look like a superstar on that throw. Jesus Christ. Why does A.J. Terrell have to be so good on other teams? Ever since A.J. Terrell had that horrible playoff game for us and we traded him, he won an OFL Bowl last year, and he might win an OFL Bowl this year. If the Beats win the OFL Bowl... I mean, I'd be good with the Beats winning, but if A.J. Terrell wins another championship, then I may just not be able to coach an OFL 23 because that's just too embarrassing. I'm okay if the Beats win, but AJ Terrell better not play well. Because all of my pride will be down the toilet. Are you still losing? Well, you didn't lose against Seattle. You guys actually won a game. So, congrats. Or I'm sorry for you if you didn't want to win. But yeah, you guys actually won a game. Ravens will win every game. I mean, there's only 2 left, so, I mean, that's possible. Why would you tell him that? Was I supposed to tell him otherwise? Just to keep him happy? I'm not going to beat around the bush for my good friend Denmark. Sally is him. I don't think Sally is a dude, though. So I guess Sally is her. Or them. We don't need to assume. Sally is what they are. You made him leave. That was a bad business decision on my part to tell him that they won. I guess what goes around comes around. I really made Denmark leave. I'm so rude. Burrow on 3rd and 6. Drops a dime, and that was a good throw, but it was dropped. Ravens proceed to lose the next 2 games and go 0-1 in the playoffs because someone said they're winning every game. That would be a Ravens-like way to end the season. So I wouldn't put it past them. Put it that way. But that was an ugly kick, but it still goes in. Shaquille might be trash. You don't sound very convinced. Shaquille is in Shaquille Griffin? Doesn't he play for this team? The most important thing to do in these situations is to lie cold-blooded. Well, now I've learned my lesson. Clearly. The Bears got to get something going. They're already down 10-0. I feel like we've seen the Beats play a few times in the snow. And, well, Bacher has a good history in snow games. You guys remember in OFL 21 in the divisional round of the playoffs when the Thunderbirds were about to win on a 4th down and Alexei Smirnov threw a game-winning Hail Mary? That was fun. Gotta bring it up once a stream. Did Madden make it so Shaquem has... Yes, Shaquem Griffin has 1 arm in the game. Shaquille has 2, because he has 2 in real life. But they gave Shaquem Griffin 1 arm. Shut up. Shut the hell up. Ugly wins are better than pretty losses. That is absolutely true. It's better to do the job well ugly than to not do the job and be pretty while you're doing it. Who is D. Johnson? Do they have Deontay Johnson? I don't know, whatever. D. Johnson would wear number 6. 2K had Davis Bertans miss a finger. Oh yeah, he does only have 9 fingers. Did the Panthers play the Ravens? Huh, they do. That game ended up getting 7 votes. That's a very good game. That could be an OFL Bowl preview, although Madden doesn't like either coach, so knowing the game, they're going to both lose in the divisional round. The Beats lead the Bears 10-0. Brooklyn, I'm going to need you to keep it up for another 3 quarters, but you're doing good so far. The more Bears losses, the better. Deontay was part of the Diggs trade. That's right. Ravens legend Deontay Johnson. I would like to do that, but you never know what shenanigans EA has up its sleeve. That is very true. These college football semifinals will go 2 ways. Either the favorites will pull away, or the underdogs win in close games. I don't think Georgia's going to blow out Ohio State. I think Ohio State's... This might be a little bit hot-takey. Obviously, Michigan deserves to be ahead of Ohio State, but I would argue Ohio State's better than Michigan. Michigan beat them head-to-head. Michigan has a better record. Michigan deserves to be higher. I think if they were to play each other again, I think Ohio State would be favored. So I think Georgia kind of got the low end of the stick by having to play Ohio State, whereas Michigan only has to play TCU. Not that TCU is bad, obviously, but I would much rather play TCU than Ohio State. Holding on the offense on Zion Johnson. Could he not throw picks for once at Lamar? What? Why are they... Oh, I thought they were farther back. So they declined the penalty, let the Bears kick, and it is now 10-3. I didn't realize they were already at like the 30-yard line. So the Beats get it back. They've had two pretty good drives so far. Jake Elliott wearing number 38. Dear Lord. The exact same feeling when you played Clemson in 2021 and won by 20. And then got smothered in the championship, but nobody here is as good as 2021 Alabama was. Burrow up the middle, good throw. Thing about Ohio State is that they've beaten Penn State and basically nobody else, plus 8 of their 12 games are in the shoe. That's true, but I think Ohio State has more pure talent than anybody except for Georgia and probably Bama, I would say. And if these blue chip level players had the ability to play well in the big time moments, then I could see them making it interesting against Georgia, although they didn't play well in the moment against Michigan at home, which is obviously a little bit of a concern. Their defense was very soft in that game, but in terms of offensive talent, they have more on offense than anyone. Third and 14. Burrow under pressure, has to get rid of it, and he throws it away. Brooklyn was really good in the first quarter, but now the Bears are starting to settle in a little bit. CJ Stroud is the most overrated player. I don't know if I would agree with that. I mean, I have my questions about him as a prospect, but the guy is probably second place for the Heisman. Although, obviously, he has a lot of really good weapons around him, but he's also very accurate and very good general for their offense. Can't wait for the day when Ryan Day, get it, Day, actually calls the offense to our strengths and not 25 bubble screens. What's your opinion on Clark Phillips? So I haven't really done a ton of homework on a lot of the prospects yet, but I know the basics about those guys, including Phillips, who's a good player. I think he has, 6 picks this year? A little bit short at 5'10", but you can certainly make do as an NFL corner at 5'10", so there's certainly a shot a guy like him could be a first-rounder. Don't know if he'll go as high as, say, Ringo or Porter, but he could be a late first-round pick. But, again, I only really know the basics about him. So that opinion could change for better or worse. What about Arizona, Jaden DeLaura? I don't think you're looking at an NFL prospect there. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't count on it. Why would they... Okay, I don't know what the Bears were trying to do that drive, but I'll take it. I'm calling 30 bubble screens now. Yeah, Ryan Day's watching the LFL stream. Hey, Ryan, if you're watching, how you doing? Can you, not promote Brian Hartline so he can come over to Oregon? Please and thanks. Ryan Day and Greg Roman have things in common, throwing pointless screens that never work. I think Ryan Day and Greg Roman might be some of the play callers for the Browns because they run so many screens and short passes here. So that would actually make a lot of sense. Ryan should take Greg Roman. I mean, they do have an opening for their offensive coordinator position. And Greg Roman may need a job. That'd be funny. If you're watching, please let CJ sling the ball downfield. That'd be a good idea. I need to give myself more confidence in the case that he becomes my team's quarterback. So, yeah, that'd be nice too. Quick throw, and it works. The Beats are moving it slowly, but pretty efficiently. Ryan Day is the college football equivalent of Dave Roberts. That's a good comparison. Both teams, both coaches were born on third base, but they didn't hit a triple. They were put in perfect situations, and I guess they don't really actively make their teams worse, but they also don't really get them over the hump. So, I would agree with that. The more successful version of Mario Cristobal. I mean, that's a pretty low bar. Because Mario is not the best in terms of play calling at all and helping your quarterback. He is a great recruiter, but as a play caller, not so much. It's kind of hard to make Justin Herbert look like a mediocre player, but he did it. So, credit to Mario for doing something that would normally seem impossible. Joe Lombardi and Brandon Staley are Justin Herbert's coaches, and they make him look as good as he is. Yet, Joe Lombardi and Brandon Staley are both horrible. So, that's like a real detriment to Mario Cristobal. If you can't do what those two goofballs are doing, then there are some problems. Because those guys are not the brightest bulbs in the box. Good touchdown for Scotty Miller. Joe Lombardi, I hate. Fire. I don't blame you. He was our offensive coordinator a while back, and he was, well, he was Joe Lombardi, put it that way. So the Bears kind of got to respond here. They're down by 14. I think they do start the ball in the second half, but a response would be good. Joe Lombardi, Brandon Staley, Greg Roman, Joe Woods, and Matt Canada should all team up in Green Bay. I agree, but they need a real leader of men in that group. They need Matt Patricia at the top. I cry every screen pass. I don't blame you. The rest of baseball should pray that LA never cans Roberts and brings in a real manager like Terry Francona. I mean, as good as the Dodgers are, yeah, imagine if they did have a guy like Francona. What a throw to, is that Hollywood? I think that's Hollywood. But yeah, imagine the Dodgers with a manager who knows how to win games in the month of October. Don't put the image of Terry in a Dodger jersey ever again. So the Bears now have it at the 4. They have 2 timeouts, and then the Beats have 3. So the Beats should be able to get the ball back even if the Bears do score, which they do. So the Bears make it a 1-score game, and they start the ball in the second half. I celebrated when Carolina finally got rid of Matt Rule, only for him to return to the Cornhuskers. Nebraska legend Matt Rule kind of has a ring to it. Just wait until the Panthers hire Sonny Dykes. I mean, Sonny Dykes has had a good year. 12-1. Did the Bears have an insane offensive line? Not that I know of. I mean, I'm not going to act like I know their offensive line head to toe. The Beats have all 3 timeouts. They certainly should be able to score, and they should certainly strive to, considering they don't start the ball in the second half. So points here would be ideal. I heard Greg Roman is a good head coach. Carolina, you should inquire. Highest rated is Zion Johnson at a 3. Well, that's a little bit concerning. An 83 sounds a little better. Remember when Joe Judge and Rule got hired back-to-back? I said back-to-back stupid. Those were, in fact, back-to-back stupid. Why are the Beats running just short passes in the middle of the field? They don't look like they're going to score. Which is not good, because we need them to. Oh, they're not even trying to. They're just running the ball. Yeah, that was a very badly mismanaged drive. And so that'll wrap up the first half. We've got ourselves a pretty good game. 17-10, the Beats on top of the Bears. If Ohio State upsets Georgia to lose to Michigan in the championship, I would explode. I wouldn't blame you. That would be embarrassing if they lose to Michigan again. As a viewer, though, I would not mind seeing Ohio State and Michigan in the championship. That would be fun. Although they should have played in the semis, but the College Football Playoff Committee hates fun. Good to know someone let Hackett be the clock management guy for the Beats. What's Octi's favorite cricket team? I don't know. What's the worst, most depressing cricket team? That's probably the answer. Hoping for Ohio State and Michigan for all the marbles. We need it. We need to see those two fan bases just be unbelievably toxic for a week. And then for one of them to lose at the end. That'd be equally embarrassing because Michigan won the game in the regular season. They think that they own bragging rights for the next year just to lose to them in the national championship. And then if Ohio State loses, then they would lose twice to Michigan. That sounds like a forever permanent set of bragging rights for Michigan. Whoever loses gets their whole state deleted. Well, in that case, for a number of reasons, I guess I'm rooting for Michigan. You know, if the state of Ohio got deleted, then I feel like a lot of the countries in this problem, yeah, exactly. A lot of the problems in this country would be gone. Ryan Day may be the first team to lead his team in the championship, only to be fired if he loses to Michigan. Imagine if Ohio State's like about to win the championship and then they lose, and then Ryan Day gets fired. 20 minutes ago, he was supposed to be a champion, and now he's out of the job. That would be quite the storyline. Oh, dear.